One of my reasons to want to change to Bitcoin over traditional cash or banks is that I think it's biblical. I think that in the Bible it says something about everyone's going to have a certain number, and you can only have that. You can only trade if you have that number. I don't think it's actually satanic to actually go for the number. I think the Bible is just saying like a prophecy of what's going to be going on. Already in every country, just about that I know, that in the OECD countries anyway, we all have a number, and the revenue department has a number on me. I have a driver's license number. There's a birth certificate number, and I don't really have too much of a choice now. I've got them to have them. I do really respect these families that can actually get by without a number. There's only a few of them in New Zealand, but they don't have a number as such as now, and that will probably change when they need to have a doctor's visit or a hospital visit. That said, if you're in the Amazon rainforest, why would you register yourself with a number when you don't need to? And I kind of think, why does the government have to know about you, your marriage, whatever? Anyway, getting back on track as I digress, I do believe too that there's a passage in the Bible where people are asking Jesus about tax. And they say, hey, look, should we really be paying tax? And Jesus looks down for a moment, looks at the coin and said, oh, well, who's on that coin? And it was Caesar, the Roman Empire. The Roman Caesar, Roman Emperor, sorry. And anyway, who knows who the heck he was, but anyway, this is what Jesus said, very similar. Look it up, put in the comments what he said. And he's basically saying, look, man, you've got a currency, and Caesar has produced that currency. And from there, you have to ask yourself, does he have a right to tax you? And his head's on that currency. You are using it. So, yeah, you've got to give to Caesar what is his, I think he says. And I kind of thought about that. I thought, well, hang on a sec. Isn't my money my money? And it's, if we look at our money in New Zealand anyway, there's like a Queen on one side or Seb and Hillary on the other, whatever. And you could argue, well, look, it's not really yours, it's theirs, as in the government's. And Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has an advantage where if it's used as a currency, and you could debate till eternity whether it is or not, I think it is. You can argue it's mine, it's in my wallet, and it's mine. Like, it's got a whole bunch of digits after it, the blockchain, and, or should I say, backing it up. And you could sort of say, hey, it's mine, you can't tax me. Now, with that in mind, I like that idea. That said, when you look at someone like the New Zealand government, they are trying to tax you for your Bitcoin, your crypto. So you do what you get told to do, or else face jail. Regardless, I think that it's a better system than what we currently have. Secondly, another thing that got me thinking about fiat currency and your own net worth was when I was a kid, I had quite an experience when I was watching late night TV, and there was film of Jews being bulldozed, dead Jews being bulldozed into pits. And I was kind of pretty mortified by it. And I know that I'd heard of the Holocaust before this, but I hadn't kind of seen imagery. And that was before AI was kind of invented, and long before the internet, long before even video cassette recorders. And it kind of just spooked me to think, crikey dick, man, one human can do this over another. No matter what you think, if you don't like Jews, or you don't like Muslims, don't like Christians, I don't think many normal people would think it's okay to kill them and bulldoze them into pits. But the other bit that kind of got me was the support structure around the regime of Nazi Germany. Like, from my understanding, IBM computers provided IBM business machines, International Business Machines, that's who they were. They provided the sort of counting technology to count up and keep tabs on the amount of Jews killed and that kind of thing. And so there's companies that exist today that have blood on their hands from yesterday. And I I kind of think it's good well, it's important to remember that kind of thing, because if you conduct business, a lot of the money that you use does have blood on it, you know. Um, and when we look at something like Switzerland, for example, Switzerland, in my opinion, during my growing up, I was always led to believe that it was a neutral country over the wars. So neutral in a lot of people's heads thinks, oh, they didn't fight for or against what was happening; they just existed. I thought, well, what would make Switzerland untouchable? It's almost like it's a forbidden fruit amongst all the countries where you can't invade it, and so you think, oh, are they good people? And I think, sorry, the people are good in Switzerland, by the way. I know a few Swiss people, good people, but I think that the whole idea that the country itself doesn't have blood on its hands is definitely not the case. I think that Switzerland was used to take a whole bunch of the gold and belongings of the Jews, and kind of used as a big money laundering outfit by Germans, the Nazis, where they would take gold from the teeth of Jews. So what I'm trying to say is nothing's safe. Nothing is safe, nothing's secure. People can take your heart, lungs, whatever, body parts, even gold from your teeth, hair they used to take, clothes, shoes, that kind of thing. And you have no access, no ability to take that stuff. If you did, you're dead. Sorry, take back that stuff. When you're dead, you're dead. You can't take it back anyway. But let's say you were alive and you had everything taken, even your gold fillings. What would you have left that you can actually use and is recognized by the world? And you could argue with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, other cryptocurrencies, you could actually have your seed phrases saved somewhere, buried somewhere, and you could actually reactivate your account, and get your money back. Now, I do realize that it's quite a big thought for me here, and what I'm trying to say is, so with those Swiss bank accounts, there's blood on their hands from the war still. There's a lot of industries in the world that has blood on their hands. Weapons manufacturers, even pesticide manufacturers. Do you have the ability to sift through them and say what's good, what's bad? Probably not. Or should I say, do you have the ability to go through them and think, well, I won't invest there. I don't want my tax dollars going there. Even New Zealand's tax schemes, like, or should I say, retirement schemes like KiwiSaver, they've found that they were actually responsible for financing war machine companies, companies that made artillery and that kind of thing for wars. So what I'm trying to say is, man, you don't have too much control. So Bitcoin itself, cryptocurrencies, give you a little bit more ability to define what's yours and define where it's going to go to. So that's been quite a biggie of my recent look at retirement. I'm getting old now. I'm over half a century old. And I kind of been looking a lot at the cryptocurrencies. Yep, they boom and they crash, but they look like they are here to stay. They could be the biggest Ponzi scheme out there, or they could just be the new, dare I say it, fiat currency that's actually recognized by the world, rather than just each country having its own currency. And I am looking at it. I am investing in it. I'm not saying whether you should or you shouldn't, by the way. I'm just kind of testing out the tools, testing out how things look when you try and buy them and try and sell them. Now, I'm buying them via an exchange. Ooh, a little bit risky. It's called Sharesies in New Zealand. Not a very professional sounding name, and it's got a pink background in its app, but it looks really cool. It's easy to use, and I like it. I like it a lot. Some would say it's probably like gambling, but it's different in that you do get return that's better than gambling, hopefully. Do I jump in balls and all? I'm not going to at this stage. I've just bought a little bit of some currencies. I don't even know how to say them properly. Bitcoin's easy. Ethereum and is it Solana. I'm investing in those cryptos or crypto type thingamybobs. So and I'm only investing what I can afford or what my family can afford. Anyways, so that's been kind of dwelling on my mind for a long time now. I know it's nothing spectacular for anybody out there. I'm planning on going through showing how I bought them on Sharesies. I'm ordering some Tangem wallets. Tangem? I think it's Tangem wallets, cold storage wallets. They're coming from, who knows where they're coming from, Switzerland, I think. And I'm going to try and store some of my crypto in that kind of storage. And I'm showing you how I'm going to, sorry guys, this is a spoiler alert. I'm going to show you how I go and record the seed phrases on a washer, a stainless steel washer. And I'd love it to be titanium, but I can't seem to get a hold of them. And just show how I'd save them or keep them safe. The other thing I'm going to do is get a cold storage wallet and record the seed phrases, but show you fellas. And the idea is that someone's going to hack my account, I'm sure, and take my Bitcoin. Now, it's only going to be a little bit of Bitcoin, but it's going to kind of show how easy it is for someone to steal the stuff if you don't do the things that are right, which are hiding your seed phrases, hiding your Tangem cards or cold storage wallets, keeping things safe, you know what I'm trying to say? And it'd be interesting to go and report to the police and try and get it back again, but I don't think anything's going to happen there. Anyway, I was also looking at things like there's apparently some kind of Bitcoin conference or cryptocurrency conference. There's going to be hundreds of people there, but I just kind of think, man, a lot of people are making money out of, like, I guess you could call it secondary markets, where they're not making money out of the cryptos themselves, but they're actually just talking about crypto to people and making money that way, making podcasts. It looks like some people are pumping it up so the price goes up. So if it does crash, they just jump out early, hopefully, and make a bit of money that way. So yeah, like a lot of things in life, very, very hard to trust. But still, I'm just curious. And I thought I'd do a whole bunch of the legwork so you don't have to. So that's what's coming up. The other part is I'm looking at buying a bank, a bank building, I should say, and checking out the safes and that kind of thing in it, because I kind of think that in the future, physical safes, as in safety deposit box type things, are going to be pretty big, where, for example, I'm getting a Tangem wallet. It makes sense to have one in my own safe. It makes sense to have one that's just hidden somewhere, that's perhaps not a safe, but just hidden. And another one that's like in a safety deposit box. And the safety deposit box, or is that what's called a safety deposit box? The idea is that you can walk in 24 hours a day. It's guarded with video cameras and alarms, and perhaps even physical security guards, and that could be in the form of AI robots, where you have to kind of get through into the safe. Now, the safe door there can be a locked door to the building. That's your first point of entry. There can be a locked door, which is the safe going into the room. That's another point of entry. And there can be a sort of collection of safety deposit boxes on the wall in the safe. And then there's a PIN number on that, or a sort of fingerprint scanner, whatever. Then there's your stuff, right? Now, I would say that you could have it so it's 24 hour, but if you want access after, say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon or before, 8 in the morning, you're going to have to pay dollars to get in. However, if it's during certain times, it's actually free. Or there's a charge. Now, the bonus about a charge, it's like a fingerprint where, let's say if it's $2, you're tracking this person's activity. So yeah, I kind of think there's a good thing for it. There's a place in Ruawai, New Zealand, where there's a whole bank there. There's a place in Paparoa where there's a whole bank there. And some of those places, man, are like Fort Knox, yes, they're old technology, but man, they were trying to guard the family jewels, the kingdom's jewels, which was very physical back in those days rather than our digital stuff. So there was actual physical cash to look after. And so they made that really, really tight. Anyways, that's my little sort of, well, big spiel about what's been ticking over in my mind. If you're planning on watching me, although it's kind of cool if you subscribe and comment for your sake, because at least you can track down if my other videos coming up, and you can read comments and see what people think about your comments. That's cool. So I know they say comment and subscribe, but if you're going to do it, just think about it. Whatever you do, comment and subscribe to these days is being watched, and you might just want to sit on the sort of perch looking at stuff rather than subscribing. So if you don't subscribe, totally understand. If you do subscribe, thank you. And I'd love to hear what you got to say. I'm going to go and say a little piece too, where I've been thinking for a long time of doing decent podcasts, and I'm such a procrastinator. I want good mics and good cameras, etc., etc. And here I am, freaking 15 years later, not even started really. And I'll just say to anybody out there, if you want to get started, just start like I am right now with my phone. And I'm hopefully going to get better and better at this. Do I plan to make money from it? Well, I'd hope to. That said, if I don't, at least I've got a record of me, because I like to look back on stuff sometimes. I'll be in the rest home with dementia saying, wow, who's that dude? And that could be good. It could be good for my son. And I think too, I have these ideas about doing paintings and writing books and stuff, man. I'm never going to get around to it, eh? I'm recording this stuff just to remind me of what I want to do next. And there's lots of it, man. I've made books and books and books of it, of things I want to do. So there could be more, guys. If you want anything me to talk about stuff, put in the comments. I'm pretty useless at getting back to you, unfortunately. But anyway, see ya. I'm going to get this day started. Bye.